Somodatta has come.
Yes, sir.
Banoja has come.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Very good, very good. Oh, I find both of you in the first list. You are very sincere. You both are very sincere. Then anybody else? Tanuja has come. Tanuja?
Yes, sir.
Oh, acha, I'm not able to see you. Good. Yasmin,
Yes, sir.
Suraj, Suraj has come. Anukya?
Yes, sir, I have come, sir.
Okay, right. Is it Anukya, but why don't you write your name actually? Your name is Anukya? No. Oh, then somebody else is. Okay, right. Very good. Sonalika also here. Rupali also here. Aditi,
Yes,
Sonulipsa.
sir.
Good, good, very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sonalika has come for the first time, or did you come earlier?
नो सर मैं पहले भी आई हूँ.
पहले मैं आया हूँ. Jayashree, Yashashree.
Yes, sir.
First time or came earlier?
No, no, sir. I
Oh, good.
attend all the classes.
Oh, thank you. So I have to consult if any missing things I am having in teaching. You are for the beginning. You are here. So far I'm telling. Anyway, uh, today's class is the last class about methodology, and I have told you earlier that methodology is very difficult, and you have to patiently hear, and also at times you will be angry with me because you are not able to understand things clearly. But the concept is such difficult. Getting clear idea is not also very easy. So you have to read again and again. I am telling you something, you again read it. Unless you practice reading, you can't be clear still. So I know that for the last three classes, I told you any doubt you are having, you can ask. Nobody has asked me. So I think everybody has clarity and no doubt is there still in your mind. Had there been doubt, you could have asked me. So I was thinking in the late evening, probably anybody would call me about the doubts, but none has yet asked for any doubts. So I'm sure you must be getting up with the idea that I'm conveying through the classes. So today I will tell you a very new concept. We were reading about, we were doing experiments, research works in different way. So the research works mainly can be divided in two types. One is quantitative research, other is qualitative research. Quantitative research means when you are able to measure in some degree some amounts, but in qualitative measure, quality research, very difficult to measure accurately. So you have to adopt some typical methods to have accurate assessment. So I will tell you also the difference between qualitative research and quantitative research. I mean, giving you some idea, a rough idea I'm giving for understanding only. Suppose I will ask you a question: how many gods you are daily worshipping? And you know, in our religion, we are having too many gods. And some are having gods like somebody believes in Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, or Lord Krishna, or Ma Durga, or Ma Saraswati, or Ma Kali, or anything like that. So I can ask you the numbers of deities you are worshipping. But if I ask, you can say. But if I ask you about the person who is more spiritual, or what is your amount of spirituality, or what about your spiritual development? Can you measure? You can say somebody is more spiritual. But can you really measure correctly the amount of spiritualism? No. Quantifying something different and qualitatively assessment is very difficult. So when you are assessing behavior, can you say how much behavior, how much spiritualism, or how much opinion, or how much truth there is? Can you just say? Very difficult. So measuring all these things is not only difficult, but requires also more distinct measurements. So now here we can just say that qualitative research is a type of scientific research that tries to bridge the gap of incomplete information. Sometimes we are measuring, but through the qualitative research we remove the gap. The gap, you can say how much you believe or how many gods you worship, but the amount that the belief, the amount of love, the amount of respect, these things, the qualitative terms, the qualities. So that can be measured by these qualitative research. So by this method, you can get complete information. So the qualitative research is scientific technique or scientific research that bridges the gap of incomplete information. Systematically collects evidence and answers to a problem or a question. So this method is used widely in collecting and understanding specific information about behavior, opinion, values. Value means good, bad, like that. Values, other social aspects of a community, culture, or population. So these things, these variables like value, opinion, behavior, and some aspect in a particular community or the culture, which culture is better, which culture is more appreciated. So the cultural variables. So these things are actually difficult to measure, and through qualitative research, actually we are able to very widely using this in collecting information and also understanding information while measuring all these things. An example is given here. An example of a qualitative research can be studying the concepts of spiritual development among college students. So the college students, how much they are spiritually developed, how can you measure? So you can't measure it like in a quantitative experiment. You can make a hypothesis or you can make a scale. So now it is difficult and research is qualitative. So the quality is a state of mind where you have to assess it. And the qualitative research thus is measuring that state, assessing that state, whether you are having such value or not. So now David 1995 had done such a study at a fairly conservative school. He actually tried to analyze whether there is uniformity or diversity in people's understanding of spiritual development or not. So how many of the same view, how many depart, that only gives the clue. So now in that way he wanted to study on the spiritual development. So qualitative development, or qualitative research actually, on the other hand, you can say it gives you in-depth knowledge regarding human behavior and also tries to find out the reasons behind decision making. Why a man is deciding this way, that way, how the regions can be also assessed. Because somebody has some concept notion, concept idea. This concept notion or the belief system, the attitudinal system that leads one to behave, to decide. So the reasons behind decision so can also be assessed through this method. So now this qualitative research can be of 4 types. What are the 4 types? So now see, in this qualitative research, so not only we are going to study the human nature, how much kind he is, what a kind man, or how much kind this person is, or how much loving this man is, or how much affectionate this man is. So these things, not only you are going to understand that, how much he loves the other person. Love is not measured like kg or pound. So it's just, how can you assess it? So these things, to understand the human nature, I mean, it's love, affection, all these things. So also the market research. In market research means how many people like this, which soap is more popular, or which which mobile is more popular. So like that. So the market research purpose. And current trend, in politics. What about the public opinion and the changing taste? So food items, the taste, the preference of people. What are the preferences of people? People's preference. So all these things are coming under qualitative research. And here, looking into all these, there are 4 methods to measure or to assess in qualitative research. Number 1 is a case study. In case study, as you know, studying a particular case. And here, you are trying to use this method to study a case as an individual, or you can study a group event, a particular group also, an individual, or you can make a case study about a group. A case study we usually do about taking one case to study in detail, but case study as a whole means to a technique whereby you can also study a group. You take the group as a case and then study what are the conditions affecting, or what are the developments in the group, or what are the group view in the case study. So here, while doing case study, you take an individual, or you can take a group, or you can take an event, particular event, how many people appreciated, how many people didn't appreciate it, or I didn't appreciate, or how many people disliked the event, all these things. Then you can also take about a society or institution under the study. This means as a case study, you can take any of these as a case and you can study in detail. So case study indicates studying in detail about a case, about a group, about an institution, about an event, like that. So here, the study provides in-depth knowledge of the nature of the process or the phenomenon of a specific case under the study. While you are going to make a case study of a person, you are going to have a detailed knowledge of the nature of the person. When you are going to a group, you are also reading the specific case. So all the members here are also studied specifically. So here the multiple methods of data collection are often used in case study method. So not only you are going to collect information, not only you are using data collection by following one particular study, you can use multiple methods. For example, you can use interview. Through interview you can get data. You can use observation. Through observation also you can get data. Through documentation and through questionnaire. You can give questionnaire. Also you can get data. So you can get your data from multiple methods. As given here example, interviews, observations, documents and questionnaires. And here the final report of the case study provides clear or detailed information. It is detailed or holistic information. Or you can say the detailed description of the case and its context, the particular person and the context, background. So here the case study provides an in-depth analysis of a particular person or of a particular group or of a particular event, so that through the description we can know in detail about all these. That is one type of qualitative research. Could you get me? Any idea? No answer?
No, sir.
বুঝতে পারলি? Again I am telling.
I understood, sir.
Yes. Yes. Will you ask me?
No query, sir. You go ahead.
Okay, right. Then we come to second type, that is ethnography. Ethnography means race and culture. So here we are going to focus on a particular community. Suppose you want to read about one habit of a person, or about one custom, or about a tradition in a particular community. So actually we have to focus on the cultural system. So here ethnography focuses on a particular community. We are going to study the behavior of the community. So here the community belongs to a particular culture. So it is a type of close field observations. Means you are observing the community in a closed manner, because it is a cultural concept, cultural background. And here we are basically going in detail about the socio-cultural phenomena. Example, you can say judging others based on the researcher's cultural standards. So on the cultural norms, we are going to assess somebody. So when you assess their behavior, actually we are considering the cultural norms. So he is behaving this way because of he belongs to this culture. He belongs to this way, belonging to this culture. So cultural way, we are going to interpret somebody's behavior. So ethnography is also used in comparative analysis, because you are comparing different cultures. For example, eating habits of North Indians, South Indians. These eating habits, suppose you make a study on the eating habits. So which food is more liked in India? You will find the choice of food is different regionally. In South India, we will find they are having more spices. They are more curd oriented. Even night they use curd. But in North India, they usually do not take curd in the night. North Indian food is different, South Indian food is different. And the little difference, see this sambar, dosa, sambar, idli, these are mostly South Indian things. But the North Indian things is something like puri like that, sabji like that. So here, because that is, you can say, the habit or the food systems, eating habits are different because it is a type of little cultural effect. So we can say that the race or the culture can determine our behavior. And this is called actually known as ethnology. Ethnology, that means depending on is a science of culture. So here, the cultural parts of the people, which you say ethno-history, can also be used. For example, when you compare the Harappan culture, Harappan civilization, Harappa. So here we say the Aryan civilization, Harappan civilization. So all these things, when you compare, we always go to the cultural history. What are the culture then? How this culture is expressed, or how the culture is influencing on the behavior of the people in Harappan culture or in other culture, Hindu culture, like that. So the cultural comparison can be possible through ethnography. And this cultural comparison, all these behavioral explanations or the eating habits or choices, that can be best explained by qualitative research. And that type of research called as ethnography. And third one is historical method. And this method, with this technique or with this method, the data relates to the occurrence of an event. Or you can say, when this event happens, what are the reasons behind the event? So here, when you just want to say the war broke because of this, then you have to, when you hypothesize like this, then you have to establish the cause, the effects and trends of event. And also, you anticipate the future as well. For example, suppose the World War happened, 1915, the World War First, World War Second, 1939 or 1935, like that. So something, the World War One, World War Two happened. So now you can go to the background of the war. So how it happened, why it happened, what could be the consequence. So all these analysis. So when you say something about the incident or the event, but this event you go to the background. What is the history? What for the event developed? What developed? Why? What could have been the system? What is the social problem for which they say war happened? So this type of research. Also the war happened. Then what could be the outcome of the war? After the war, what could be the social order of the entire globe? So all these things. World War II happened. The outcome was, imagine, the globe will be divided by Russia and America. It happened. And now it is changing. It was Russia, America. Now it is coming America and China. So now why this order again would have anticipated like this? Now changing, why? Because the economy is shifting. So now you see, the historical method gives you the clues, the idea about the reasons behind something. Why this happened? What could happen next? And what is the consequences? Then the fourth one is the grounded theory. And this is another type of research. It is qualitative. And in this research, it is grounded because here the researcher himself, he is involved in active participation. I mean, the researcher, he spends time in the same culture or the community on a study, and by involving directly, he gains experience about the people and the culture from his own experiences, from his own observation. He can say something. So it is usually used in generating or developing theories, because here when somebody is going to write something about a culture, suppose we are going to write about a culture about the tribals in Odisha, like Sir Kandha, Ulha, like that. There are so many tribals, some communities. Suppose we want to make research on this Kandha community. So first of all, we should be in the Kandha culture. We should stay in that Kandha society. We should get ourselves acquainted with the culture. And by our involvement, we can know their cultural system, their cultural development, their cultural trends. So these four methods, and here the grounded theory is very important, because by getting yourself involved directly, you get some experience, and from your experience, you get a basis on which you can write a theory. So theories or hypotheses or any postulates, they are made. So the observation gives rise to writing your views in the form of theories. So the grounded theory, now see the other page, it has four aspects. Fit. It is fit because it helps in analyzing whether the theory corresponds to real existing community. When speaking about a community or studying on a community, so the grounded theory speaks whether you are really, if it is really fit to analyze about the community. And second, understanding. And the theory of the grounding theory is clear and understandable, because here to this grounded theory or grounding theory, you are giving some views from your own experiences by your direct involvement. So it is clear and understandable. It is fit because it is proper, justified. It is understandable, means clear, and generality, because this view or this information you can just spread. It can be generalized because it can be given for the analysis, or from these new theories can also be generated because it's based on truth. And lastly, control. This theory generated from the grounding theory is valid as it has been analyzed under controlled condition, because you are personally getting involved and you are realizing, and your informations are being the basis. And now I come to the function. The functions of grounded theory. First of all, it helps in identifying the codes that are the key points of the data to be gathered. So when you are going to study in a culture, on the culture being part of a culture, because you are getting directly involved. So you are now identifying, you are able to say this particular aspect can tell you about the culture. For example, the particular, like the tribal people, they are very much involved in dancing, singing, and collective enjoyments. By looking into that, you can say, you get a code, or you get the anchor, that you can say the key point, that these people are not very much high thinking. They're very enjoying. They are enjoying the present, not thinking much about the future. They are merrymaking. They want to spend time in amusement. So you can say this is a key point that you can, because you are a part of the culture, you are missing in the culture, and you have got it. So you can say like this. Then also, secondly, it helps in making implicit belief system explicit. So now the researcher can ask question to the people in the same culture, and their internal or implicit views can be explicit. They can express their views, then express their ideas, and their thinking process can also be explicit. And thirdly, so this grounding theory helps in creating steps for careful execution to guarantee a good theory as the outcome. This means a good theory will be the result. So from this, the theory can be one appropriate theory. And lastly, the data collection and analysis is continue throughout the study. So when you are going to make the grounded theory research, so from the very day you are involved, you are collecting data and also analyzing the data. You are collecting data and also you are analyzing whether it is true or not true. Again, the next day you are going to again paste it and again analyzing. So data collection and analysis is continue throughout the study until and unless you become sure of something. You are always going to collect data and analyzing. And ultimately, when you are sure something is like this, then you write your views, and which comes as a theory, or your views comes at something like a conclusion or concluding conclusion about the group. So now the phenomenology is another method, and here the behavioral phenomena is explained, and here the conscious experience and behavior is only taken into consideration. And this method is also phenomenology just is a method discussing or emphasizing or detailing on a particular phenomenon. So now we come to the comparison. What is qualitative and quantitative research? So you must have been getting little idea about this when I told about the qualitative research, but still in the mind you must have the query that what is the difference? How can you difference between qualitative and quantitative research? So the basic conceptual difference between the two is that the quantitative research is based upon numerical or graphical data. So in the research you are getting some numbers. For example, you are getting scores with a number, or you can getting some graphical representation like a big column, small column, or you can get this high in the curve, less in the curve. So graphically or numerically, you are getting information about the data that is in quantitative methods. So quantitatively, like numerical or graphical presentation, we get some data. But in quantitative research, we don't get the numbers. So we simply get experiential data. What we observe, what we see, what we experience. So data is numerical in quantitative method. Data is experiential in qualitative methods. Could you get me? This is a minute difference. Anybody? Are you clear this particular
Yes.
difference?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So now I will come to other differences. So first we come to general framework. In qualitative research, we seek to explore phenomena using structured methods such as in-depth interview, experiences, participant observation. As I told you earlier, this is all about qualitative research. So the general framework, or generally the qualitative research involves in-depth interview or experiences through an involvement or participant observation. You participate and observe. That is the data you are getting. That is now in qualitative research. But in quantitative, here you are making a hypothesis. You are confirming the hypothesis. Already I have told you in other classes that there is a hypothesis. So the hypothesis is a prediction about the result. And the quantitative result research, you make a hypothesis to a particular phenomena. And here you are using very structured methods. So there in qualitative research, we were using some type of structural methods, but those are not very highly structured methods. They are so-called structural methods. But here the methods are highly structured, like survey or structured observation or questionnaires relating to that particular topic. That is all quantitative research. Secondly, regarding objectives, the qualitative research aims to describe or to explain the relationship or describing behavior, experiences, and norms of the individual and groups. It describes the norms of the individual group. What are the norm of this group? Cultural norm, cultural standard. Or this group, that group, they differ or they resemble on which point? That is the norm. So here we are depending on, or our aim is to describe the variation among groups, or to describe the relationship, or we describe the behavior in terms of experience and norms. That is in qualitative research. But in quantitative research, we aim to quantify variation. If there is variation, what is the amount of variation? So here only in qualitative, we are explaining relationship and describing variation. But here we are quantifying. If they are varying, how much? To what extent? Positive and negative. And also in quantitative method, we are going to discuss about causal relationship. I have told you the experimental methods in field study or experimental study, we are going to study the cause-effect relationship. What is the cause that we see in quantitative research? So the cause-effect relationship can be clearly appreciated in quantitative research, but not in qualitative research. So here, thirdly, so now see, this means the second one again repeating. This one's the qualitative research is descriptive. It is only descriptive. But here the quantitative research is predictive. You are able to predict. If you say know the cause, you can predict the behavior. Then third, the question. The questions used for data collection are open-ended in qualitative research, and the questions in quantitative method is close-ended. You must be having doubts on what is close-ended, open-ended. I am asking you this. You are asking this person, for example, if somebody you are going to interview, you are asking how many members are in their family, how many of them are studying in the school, or who are the friends in your school, or how many people come to your house daily to see your father, Or what about the books you are reading? What type of books? They are open-ended. And the close-ended, do you like this man? Either yes or no. Close-ended. Either you have to say yes or you have to no. You close-ended. But open-ended, you can say many things. Open-ended means you don't have a, you are free. You can give a response in different ways. But in close-ended, you are not free. You have to say yes or no. You like or dislike. Yes or no. You want or do not want. Yes or no. So here the question doesn't give you freedom of choice. So now you see the quantitative research. You are giving some questions, questionnaire. The questionnaire is, as you know, yes or no questionnaire. Either you say yes or no. That is close-ended. That type of question not in qualitative research because that is open-ended. If you like something, you can say, you can narrate, you can experience, you can say, you can describe. This is a beautiful flower. This beautiful flower have so many petals, so many sweet smell. So you can describe. But now the question is, do you love this flower? Yes or no? That becomes close-ended. So the questions are close-ended in quantity method, and it is open-ended, that is in qualitative method. And the data representation, the data is presented in the form of notes, recordings, and videotapes. So the data we are collecting in qualitative methods, not from these score sheets, not from the score sheets. On the questionnaire score sheet, you are not getting, scoring sheet, you are not using. But here, you are getting data from the notes, from the writings. What is written? What are the recordings? What it says? Or the videotapes, how is observing? What is says and how is going to act there? So these things are the data. But data is represented in the form of numbers and graphs in case of qualitative research. Quantitative research. In quantitative research, the data you are getting is presented in the form of number and a graph. But the data we are getting in case of qualitative research is not a number or a graph. It is writing only, writing a passage. Some recordings. He is giving his view statement or some video recordings, video tapes. So these are things. But here, in the form of numbers and graphs. And lastly, the design. The research design allows some flexibility in certain situational aspects.
Sir,
The questions, yes.
sir, जोटा लाइकट स्केल रे थाए सर सेटा भी क्लोज एंडेड रे जीवो ना सर
हाँ क्लोज एंडेड जीवो
सर ओके सर
सो लाइकट रे तो 3 पॉइंट की 5 पॉइंट अछि
ये 5 पॉइंट लाइकट स्केल रे
जहाँ अछि परिबो
सर
अछि ना आई लाइक आई डिसलाइक आई स्ट्रांगली डिसलाइक
यस सर
so you are giving your this like that
सर
right
यस सर
so then is design. The design allows flexibility in case of qualitative research. The question used for data collection differs individually and depends upon the response of the participants. And जो पता जो क्वेश्चन पचारुछु जो रेस्पॉन्स करूची ताको देखि पचारुछु नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन मनकर तुमे पचारला गोटे ए जो हमर घर को आसछन्ती डाटा कलेक्शन पई तम घरे केते जण मेल केते जण फीमेल यू करछो सेंसस डाटा हाउ मेनी मेल्स यू आर हैविंग सो यू से 3 or 4 or 1 or 2 କିନ୍ତୁ ସିଏ ତୁମ ତାହାର କରିପାରିବେ ଓପୋନେଣ୍ଟ ପଚାରିବେ ତୁମକୁ ମାନେ କ'ଣ ତମକୁ ଭଲ ଲାଗେ କ'ଣ ଖାଇଛ କ'ଣ କରିଛ ଏଟା ସବୁ ମାନେ ତୁମେ ମନ ଇଚ୍ଛା କହିପାରିବ ମନ ଇଚ୍ଛା କିନ୍ତୁ এইটা ଯୋଉ ଯଦି କ୍ଲୋଜ ଏଣ୍ଡରେ ତୁମେ କିଛି ମନ ଇଚ୍ଛା ନୁହେଁ ଇଟ୍ସ ଟପିକାଲ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଡିସାଇଡେଡ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଫିକ୍ସଡ so now the design is similarly different. So now I come to the qualitative research and its relevance. बोधे तुमर सब टिके क्वालिटेटिव क्वांटिटेटिव आइडिया डिफरेंस आइडिया टिके आसी जीवनी प्रिज्यूमिंग दैट आई एम कमिंग टू रेलेवेंस राइट
Sir, a doubt, please.
हां कौन कह
Sir, can you give some topics names on qualitative research, like in today's topic, any one or two topic names on qualitative research?
राइट गोटे स्टडी कर देला प्रोजेक्ट लिखिला मु ता देखुतली आसला मो पाखु मो प्रोजेक्ट जो सब पिला सब चूज कर सब सिनोसिस पई टॉपिक पई तमे कौन प्रोजेक्ट करिवो का ऊपर करिवो केमती करिवो ए ठीक की भूल को टॉपिक तो नबा कथा कौन देले भलो कर परिवो एगुडा आसे मो पाखु बेले अप्रूव करिया पई लिखिया पई ओटा आसा जे amount of love the amount of love is influenced by one factor by so many factors or the factors influencing amount of love or factors influencing love ये गोटे स्टडी आसला ये लव तो नापियो केमती there may be so many factors but how to measure it so now age is suppose now this topic is not in the context of quantitative research it has qualitative research को a love affection कि तुम्हारा गोटे गोटे कल्चरल नॉर्म कि तुम्हारा केते विश्वास कर हाउ मच स्पिरिचुअल और व्हिच रिलीजन इज मोर स्पिरिचुअल more spirituality in the religion how can you measure so these things cannot be measured in as I told you you can quantify you can say the cause relationship or here we cannot make some I mean in the as I told you you cannot measure it in a quantitative way so this is only a qualitative experiment could you get me
Yes, sir.
right गोटे छोटिया क्वेश्चन दिए घरे बापा क्या बेस भल पाती अरे बापा माँ किसी भल पाती क्या मेक ए कनक्लूजन बापा क्या बेस दिखती क्या टंका कहीं कौन दिखती से कहीदे पार कि भल पाती कि कहब कि यही गोटे टर्म अच्छी भल पाइबा पैरेंटल लव और फैमिली हस्बैंड वाइफ लव एनीथिंग हाउ कैन यू क्वांटिफाई ये गोटे एक्सपीरियंस केवल ए वाइफ ओनली एक्सपीरियंसेस हाउ मच लव द हस्बैंड has for her but how can you just tell in a proportion and tell in a measuring way so such type of experiential studies when you experience something and write down as a paper as a research paper that is all qualitative research so here the statement is experience based but here in quantitative the statement is data based could you get me
Yes, sir.
right so now
sir experience based hoji qualitative research
experience based because you can only experience yes तमे तम बड़ भाई की बेसी भल पाओ ना सान भाई की बेसी भल पाओ can you just give in a quantitative way it's your experience only बुझे नहीं so you for example your brother who is getting your love he can only experience your love but he cannot say my brother loves me this amount cannot so this love or this or any opinion not a good not a bad you कहूछ केते bad how much good can you quantify No, simply a state of expression that you experience about something. So these things can be simply understood in the way that here the qualitative research is basing on experience. And therefore, I told you in the grounded system, somebody is going to actively involve so that you will experience. So only you will experience, you will get data. From data, you can make a theory. But in quantitative system, yes. Anything? Anybody? Anybody? Yeah, all right. So now this qualitative research has gained much more importance in the psychology discipline because it is mostly dealing with human behavior. Also, it is now used more in sociology and nursing. Also, with a motive to maintain historical attempts to frame psychology as a natural science. Because when you have some behavior, you are behaving in this way. So you can't say that you are bad or good. I'm giving an example. गोटे पिओन टे गोटे स्कूल सी जाऊँगी 8:45 है साइकल जाऊँगी सी स्कूलटा 4 किलोमीटर दूर हम 4 किलोमीटर दूर गोटे छोट पिलाटा जाऊँ स्कूल को पता अंकल अंकल व्हाट द टाइम सी कहला 8:45 तापर आउ टिके कहला आउ पता पिला गोटे अंकल केते टाइम होती सी गोटे पार्टी करी कहला बदमाश पार्टी कर सब कर कि आउ गोटे आउ पार्टी कर Now the question is, whether he's a bad man? Can you say he's a bad man? So तराबर अच्छी सी स्टेट अलग तेणु तार गोटे बिहेवियर तुम्हें कहला गुड और बैड यू ट्राई टू स्टडी द एंटीसीडेंट ता कॉजटा कौन ता हिस्ट्री कौन बुझे नहीं तेणु गोटे आम जो क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च आम जो कनक्लूजन करूँ आम खाली डाटा नहीं करदेबुनि आम देखू कौन है व्हाट कुड द पॉसिबल कॉजेस व्हाट आर द हिस्टोरिकल एंटीसीडेंट्स व्हाट इज द एक्सपीरियंस Why the man behaved very nicely first time, not nicely second time? Why? Because he was in hurry. So looking at the watch and saying it's taking time. If he becomes 1 minute late, it will be crossed mark. Attendance will be crossed. So in this research, qualitative research, we always consider about the experience, about the historical background. Historical means the antecedents, and therefore in the human behavior actually the behavior is best analyzed when it is analyzed in its antecedent links. So basically everybody is good, but why somebody is behaving in this way or not in that way? Something there. That is qualitative research. So now the qualitative research therefore helps in attaining or not in attaining the in-depth knowledge of human nature, his nature, how is he, what is his attitude, what is his behavior, what is his experience. So all these things are in depth studied in qualitative research, and this qualitative research has several implications in the discipline of psychology. Number one, it helps in textual description of experience. लोगों experience को से textually in writing can explain. It helps in identifying or explaining social norms, religion, roles of gender, and socioeconomic status. And here helps in understanding the behavioral phenomena which cannot be quantified Also, it helps in collecting data on the more natural situation, because you are part of culture, you are hearing everything, experiencing naturally. And lastly, it helps in determining the factors which are meaningful and important to the respondents on a study. So now you see the qualitative research is very important in making a complete assessment about the human behavior. So apart from getting data about some behavioral traits, as in quantitative research, we are getting a sound idea about the behavior, opinion, attitude, everything through the method that is qualitative. So now we come to ethnography. I have told you ethnography is one method we are using in this qualitative research. And ethnography, I have told you the meaning of the ethnography. Ethnography actually, ethnography links or it means to community or race or culture. So the ethnographic studies indicates cultural studies and collected through using empirical areas of investigation in a culture. And here you interview people, elicit deeper and ambiguous responses also. And the analysis of data leads to development of theories for the sociocultural phenomenon. And some common terms used by ethnographers, those who study in culture, they use some common terms. One is symbol. Symbol refers to any tradition or any material, artifact material of a culture like art, clothing, food. What a particular art देखिक आमे कहि परिबा एटा एमटी ए सिंबल गोटे देखिबो ट्राइबल लोकर गोटे तांगर गोटे सिंबल थिबो सिंबलिक से आर्ट रहू कि ड्रेस रहू साड़ी रहू कि फूड रहू we can indicate that particular culture. The ethnographer tries to understand the cultural connotations behind the symbol of a culture. से गोटे सिंबल देखि जानिबो से को कल्चर रो कोन तांगर सोशल नॉर्म हम गोटे कल्चर. So now this is symbol. Then the cultural patterning. Ethnographers believe that the meaning of symbol cannot be understood until it is paired with one or more symbol. खाली गोटे symbol में आउ केते symbol मिसले you can get clear idea about a culture. So the cultural patterning refers to study of cultural patterns found through relationship between two or more symbols. मान खाली गोटे symbol में आमर दि तीन symbol एकाटी मिसी गले हमें clearly जानि जिवु एटा को culture रो. The cultural patterning. Then the third is tacit knowledge, refers to those cultural beliefs that are firm in nature. So that is the idea that we get from the culture, that the cultural belief, that the belief system which are firm in the culture and they are deeply embedded in a culture and rarely need to be discussed in explicit way. That is not much discussed because that implicit things cannot be observed explicitly. That is only inferred by the ethnographer. Example होची कोन ना prejudice or author's belief. हमर गाँ घर अछि डाहाणी लागे भूत लागे डाहाणी लागे जो डाहाणी भूत ए जो कॉन्सेप्ट अपन अछि एटा सब कोन एटा को सेटा को एक्सप्लेन करियो बनी that is only felt. जे एथर पर इनफर कर देख लोक सब देखिक जान सब पचारे कहीं कहे कारण एगुड़ाक किसी पचारे कहीकि कहीं तुमको बुझे पारे तेणु ये जो सब अच्छी प्रिजुडिस अच्छी माने ये गुड़ा भल नुहति आमर बेले इमित प्रति जोन गोटे जोन अच्छी रिजनाल डिस्पारिटी अच्छी आम कहूँ यही आम ओडिशा पश्चिम ओडिशा कहे कटक लोकटा भल नुहे जिते बुझेबू कि कहीं भल नुहे तार प्रिजुडिस तुम बुझीपर बुझीपर से प्रिजुडिस गोटे जाति आ जाति कहे खराब मुस्लिम मैंने भल नुहे कि हिंदू मैंने भल नुहे कि गोटे कम्युनिटी भल नुहे आम जो कहूँ ये गोटे माने बुझे पार तुम्हें बस यू हैव टू बिलीव इट ये प्रिजुडिस जो अथर्स बिलीव प्रिजुडिस ये कैनॉट बी यू कैन ऑब्जर्व इट बट यू हैव टू इनफर उदाहरण दौर आ गोटे आमर गोटे जगह अच्छी ओडिशा कलाहांडी गोटे माणिकेश्वरी अच्छा ठाकुराणी बहुत बड़ी पड़े तुम जान सब से बड़ी पड़ा बंद करने बहुत गवर्नमेंट डिल कर बंद कहीं शह शह मान हजार हजार मार्जन से दिन करे रक्त फक्त कर बोई दिखाँ चाक अरे आम पचारे कौन पे यहाँ हूँ पचारे कौन लाभ कहीं कहीपर तार विश्वास अच्छी जे न कले मोर कौन क्षति हो सी करेंगे किसी कम था लाभ न हो कि अच्छी कि ना पचारे अलग कथा न कले क्षति हो मनुष्य मैंने तेणु ये टासिट नॉलेज गोटे माने जो माने माने गोटे कल्चरल बिलीफ फार्म बिलीफ बदल हम ना बदलवाई नुआ नुआ कौन सब टेक्निक कर कि यू कैन जस्ट आस्क देम टू टेक ओपिनियन नॉट पॉसिबल बिकॉज दैट इज हिडन इन देयर आई मीन थॉट प्रोसेस एंड द प्रिजुडिस और ऑर्थोडॉक्स देयर आर वेरी ऑर्थोडॉक्स वे बिलीविंग दैट The next one is situational reduction. So it refers to the belief of ethnographers that social structures and social dynamics or dynamism are a result of interaction of several social situations. So now here they say that in this research actually we just believe that particular this for every response or every behavior we drag it to a social dynamism. They say, for example, what a criminal behavior जन लोग क्रिमिनाल आम कहूँ क्रिमिनाल है not just because he's a bad man. He's doing like that because of poor economic condition or because of frustration, because of loss of parenthood, because of quarreling with neighbors, because of peer groups despise, hatred, all these things. So here we can say the situation is actually making the behavior. So here the analysis is that, so when the ethnographers, they have a study, they always make a situational reduction. They always try to reduce the behavior in situational analysis. Next to come to the assumptions in ethnography. Ethnography research assumes that the main objective research depends upon
Yes. What is the difference between grounded theory and ethnography? I think they are somewhat similar.
No, grounded theory, the researcher is getting involved directly. Suppose you are going to do some research with on the one culture, so you become a member of that culture.
Yes, sir.
So the participation is active. So you are doing on any culture, on research, on any community research to get the information. You behave like a man of the culture. So it requires active participation, right? But in
Yes, sir.
ethnography, hello.
Yes, sir. Please.
In ethnography, we are just comparing, observing. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello, to?
Yes, sir.
So next you come to the types of ethnographic research. There is the macro ethnography, where you broadly define the cultural groupings. For example, the Indians, the Turkish, the common. These are all studied at a larger level. So which are found to be common under a more broader strata. For example, macro ethnography means we are reading a culture in a macro level. We say this is Indian culture. In America, we say, suppose somebody is going in a sari, for the dress they say, they are Indians. And not who type of Indian? South Indian, North Indian, East Indian, West Indian, not like that. Indian. Broadly. Chinese style, anything you are eating, no type of discrimination, no. Everything they can eat. Chinese style. So Chinese, Indian, so you can say macro ethnography. Macro means a broad analysis of a culture. Then micro ethnography is studying a more specific cultural grouping, like local government. This is Odia style. ଆମର ଯେମିତି ହେଉଛି ଆମର ଯେଉଁ 26th ଯେଉଁ ହେଲା ସବୁ ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ଲୋକମାନେ ବେଶୀ ଆୱାର୍ଡ଼ ପାଇଲେ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ଷ୍ଟାଇଲ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ଆର୍ଟ ଓଡ଼ିଶାନ୍ କଲଚର କହିକି ହେଉଛି ମାନେ ଟେରରିଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରକାର କଲଚର ସେଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଦେ ବିଲିଭ୍ ଇନ୍ ଓନ୍ଲି by threatening, by force they want to do things. Macro ethnography. Macro means large, macro means small. Local government, that is general government. So now the emic perspective, ethic perspective, that's old data. In emic perspective, the ethnographic approach of the in-group members of the culture. So how the got a particular culture in-group members, जो माने से अच्छा the member. For example, maybe any culture or any club members or any group, the members, in-group members. So now I was studying them. What is their culture? What is their norms? In the in-group study, emic. And ethic is the out-group culture. So the out-group study, or the study or the research on the out-group members and the effect of their norm culture, that is ethic. And about the in-group members, that is emic. So this is all ethnographic research, where we do macro research, micro research, emic research, and ethic research, and research mostly bases upon community and culture, or race, or a style of life. When now we come to the purpose of the ethnographic research, it helps in cross-cultural analysis. So through this research, you can compare culture to culture, cultural analysis. It helps in analyzing the past event or the history of the culture, how the culture developed. So now see the American culture. I have seen in America a very peculiar trend. So you can see in India, you will find a people of this peninsula, Indian peninsula, or this particular land in one way. But in America, you will find there are people of different cultures. There are Europeans, there are more Spanish people, Mexican. There are Spanish people, British people, there are German people, Jews, and there are also Chinese. There are many people around the world. But one thing you will find, those people, they behave in a particular way. When you are in India, you say you are Indian. But when you join in America, you stay as an American citizen, you forget that you are Indian because you are in different setup. And in America, you will find there are so many different cultural people, so many people of different countries, but they behave like one, for which only America prospering. and once there will be, for example, you should go to Canada. In Canada, you will find there is effect of France and UK. In northern part, you will find more French people. So Canada, that way you find there is a problem to set up what type of language, French or English. So because the people are divided. But in America, you have different languages, but you have to follow one. So American culture is this. So you are having different cultures, but you have to have one. So here, so now you have to, why this is happening? Because of the history, of the past event. So in the past, the American culture is such. The American War of Independence, they are the English people, and they revolted against the English people also. And the English people, they controlled America, and ultimately those people reacted because those people, they mixed with French people, Red Indians, and a new type of culture developed, and they opposed this exploitation of the British people. They reacted, and naturally the British people, the war happened, and the British people were defeated, and America became independent. So now this is the thing, because the background, history. And thirdly, it helps in studying behavior, experiences, and attitudes of individual in the natural environment. When you become a member of the culture, you actively participate, you read their behavior in a natural setting. So you don't ask any question, get into a room and give some talks, nothing artificiality. Observe naturally. Then a close observations increases the chances of validity. So in this ethnographic studies, you are having close observation so that the conclusion is more valid. The steps in ethnographic methods. First is selection. So here actually you are selecting a culture. So which culture, which community has to be studied, that is select. Second, the review of literature. So you discuss about that culture, you read about that culture, just to compile with views of different persons on the culture, that is review literature. Then identify a variable. Then you now identify the variable of interest, which interests him or her as the members of the culture and needs to be explored. What type of things you want to explore and why? What makes you to study? And entry. The ethnographer tries to enter the culture and try to gain the acceptance, because you are going to observe. Then you must be accepted. Amar gote Bonda community ଅଛି ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ, Bonda Hills ଜାଣିଛ ତୁମେ, Bonda community, Bonda ଗୋଟେ tribal people. ତମେ ଯଦି ପଳେଇ ଯାଇଛ ତାଙ୍କ ଏରିଆ ଭିତରକୁ, ଏବେ କ'ଣ ଜାଣିନି, ମୁଁ ଜାଣିଛି, ମୁଁ ତ ଯାଉଥିଲି ଆକୁ ଦେଖିଛି ମୁଁ around 40 years back when I was an officer having tours to that area, I was given this impression that Bonda is ପଳେଇ ଯିବ ଯଦି ସେମାନଙ୍କ ଡ୍ରେସ୍ ତ ପୁରା almost semi naked or naked, ତମେ ଯାଇ ଦେଖୁଥିବ, ଚାହୁଁଥିବ, ବୁଲୁଥିବ, ସେମାନେ ସନ୍ଦେହ କରିବେ, they will be suddenly attacked by any people. ତେଣୁ ତୁମର ଗୋଟେ ଯାଉଛ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କାମ, ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରି ତାଙ୍କୁ ହେଲ୍ପ କରିବା ପାଇଁ, NGO ହଉ କି ଯାହା ହଉ କି ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ ନେଇକି ଯାଉଛ କି ତମେ, you have to take permission. So here if you show interest for your entry, you must take permission, and you must be acceptable. They should accept you. Suppose you want to study a culture, study on the cultural behavior, cultural aspects. Suppose you want to study, and they must give you permission. They must accept you as a person who is going to really study. So if they doubt your integrity or something, then you will be important problem. So that is entry. At the entry point, you must be acceptable. Then the cultural immersion. The ethnographers live in the culture for months and even years. Sometimes when you choose to study on a culture, you stay in that culture for a month or a year. You are studying. Then in the process, you also take some of that culture. What ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ମନେ ଅଛି, ଗୋଟେ ଇଲିଆନା ବୋଲି ଗୋଟେ ଲେଡି ଜଣେ ଆମର ସେ ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି. She is doing Odissi dance for last 40 years. ଜାଣିଛ ତାଙ୍କ ନା?
Yes, sir.
ଜାଣିଛ
Yes.
କି? ଜାଣିଛ?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ହଁ ଦେଖ ତାଙ୍କର ସବୁ ସେ ରହିକି ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଏତେ ବର୍ଷ କାଳ ଦେଖିବ ସିଏ almost like ଓଡ଼ିଆ କାଲ now. Isn't it? So when you
Yes, sir.
study about this, she loved the culture of Odisha. She loved the Odissi dance. She loved to stay in Odisha. And ultimately, there was a cultural immersion. When you are observing, experiencing, and getting information, all these things, you also in the chaining process, you have cultural immersion, and you get data collection after gaining confidence of the respondents in the system. You observe and get data, and the data you keep and develop a theory. Right? So through this ethnographic method, also you ultimately from a data develop a theory, right? So ethical guidelines in quantitative research. The respondent and the responses should be respected by the researcher. The respondent means the person on whom the researcher is going to study. Their responses should be respected. You can't be annoyed. You can't say yes or no. You should respect what they say. Researchers must know or must show respect and a belongingness to the community. The respondents must be aware of what is being answered by the researcher. My respondents that कहले they must be aware of. କହିଦେବ ତମକୁ researcher ଯେ ତୁମେ ଏହା କହିଛ ଏମିତି କହିବା କଥା କି ଏମିତି କହିବା ନ କରି ପଚାରିଛି ମୁଁ ଏହା I asked this but you told like this. Now here my question again. And the researcher must ensure and maintain the confidentiality. So when you talk about observation or studies, so then suppose you are asking something very confidential or something there are cultural orientations or there are cultural things, then they must be sure that you are confidential. If they doubt about your integrity, then neither they will cooperate nor they will behave properly, and your life will be at stake also. Lastly, researchers should be aware of expert risks and benefits, including the psychological and social aspects while performing research. So while doing research, there may be some risk, and he must be aware of that. So this way we complete this ethnographic study. Then we come to unit 2, the grounded theory. I have told the grounded theory, and grounded theory is one of the basic approach and most prominently used technique in qualitative research. And it refers to the process of generation of theory, which is based on collection of data from multiple sources. In ethnographic study, as I told you, were observing on a particular aspect, particular group. So in grounded theory, we develop we actively involve and we collect the data from multiple sources. As I have told you, from interview, from questionnaire, from asking, from hearing from others, like this. So from multiple sources, and here the qualitative research, the only method in the entire research paradigms in psychological research or social research, there are so many methods, but the only method is grounded grounded theory method, where we can use both qualitative and quantitative methods. Grounded theory method is a qualitative method, qualitative research, but this method has one speciality, that here also we can take quantitative data into analysis, because here in grounded theory system, in this technique, we are preparing a solid theory on a particular dimension, particular phenomenon. Therefore, we take into account the data we have collected in qualitative research and through quantitative research also. I mean quantitative data and qualitative data. So here the grounded theory approach collect data and interpret the data on the textual base. Textual base means collections of text. That is, on the data collected from the field notes or video recordings. After the process of interpreting, the data is categorically categorized or categorically presented into different variables, and the interrelationship between these variables are analyzed and studied. डाटा जो पांच माने विभिन्न टेस्ट रु बा विभिन्न बही रु बा विभिन्न लोकन ठारू डाटा को तो माने एनालाइज करती ताकू माने ताकू पछरे इंटरलिंक करती सी एमती पिंदितला एमती खाउतला बोथे एई पिंदिला एमती खाती एमती लिंक करन सब इंटरलिंक एनी हाउ the process of dividing and forming variables requiring through is knowledge of age literature that is helping in making the grounded theory more theoretically sensitivity by creating more theoretically sensitivity in grounded theory, because here we get the exactness of the information, because we not only get the data qualitative way, also we get the data quantitatively. So the goals of the grounded theory, which basic goal is, so here the systematic steps of the data is collected from more and more sources. The basic goal is to have a good theory. So here we want to make a good theory for the data system. The data we collect should be authentic, and here the basic goal is to get data to ensure a good theory as the output. And the grounded theory approach secondly emphasizes on the process by which theory is evaluated. Not only make a theory, we also evaluate the theory, which means the quality of the theory. The theory is correct or not? Is this quality having some shortcomings, or is it a clean theory, acceptable theory? And thirdly, the grounded theory approach emphasizes on enhancing the theoretical sensitivity. How much the theory is sensitive? So how much practicable? How much replicable? And fourthly, one group of grounded theory, one goal of grounded theory is to formulate hypothesis. So when you get the conceptual ideas, you can create hypothesis. So on the basis of questions asked by the researcher to discover the participants' main concern and how they continually try to resolve it. So you can make questions on that also. Also, lastly, the aims to generate those concepts which explain people's actions regardless of time and place. So here we are going to get concepts about time and about the concepts about the actions, and also here actions regarding the actions about time and place. Clearly you can state about the actions and the methods in the grounded theory that as I told you earlier. So discuss about the theory practically or actively involved is a qualitative research. Now, so here you see because of your involvement, you are getting more and more correct data. So the steps of the grounded theory. One is memoing is the objective to collect data in form of memos. Memos means short notes. So data we are getting in the form of memos, very theoretical note or a field note or code notes. So the notes are getting like theoretical notes or field notes, field observation or code notes. Code notes. So nextly sorting in grounding theory. So once the short notes or the memos are prepared, the information is sorted in order to organize them in proper order. Sorting, that is also, we know about typewriting, sonography, they are having something is sorting. And thirdly, writing in grounded theory, after the memos are sorted, we collect memos, then are sorting memos. The next stage is preparation of theory. Then you write the theory relating to all these memos, all these experiences, all the informations. Then the types of coding, what type of codes we are using under theory. There is selective coding. So there are so many codings available, and they select which type of coding will be applicable. And open coding and identifying, labeling, analyzing phenomenon. So grounded theory is on the basis of generalization categories, names, events, and properties into more general categories. They openly code it. Then SQL coding. Then that is the codes to each other. Related deductive coding. They try to analyze the causal relationship between the variables. And this lead to this lead to this. Axial coding. That is indicating cause effect link. Axial coding. The relevance of grounding theory. The grounding theory or the ground theories prepare report on the basis of information collected with the help of various sources. Number one. So other theories by other methods, they collect information in particular specific source. But in grounded theory, they collect information from various sources. So I told you from interview, from peers report, from experience, like this, multiple sources. So the reliability and validity of the theory is more. The grounded theory approaches gives opportunity for exploring the facts and knowing the causal relationship. So cause effect or the causal or the reasons can be known by this theory. It is an inductive type of research which has the basis or is grounded on the basis of observation and data collected. Is inductive because you observe, you collect data, from that you induce a theory. And the grounded theory approach provides a base to specify how a knowledge base could be changed in the light of new. So now in the grounded theory only, you have one view, one idea, one theory. But with the grounded research, if you get something else, so with the new information, you can change the theory, you can make it updated. And the grounded theory often categorizes data which further forms a basis of organizing and reporting results. So now the implication of grounded theory. The grounded theory is often used in formulation of policies and propaganda and program. Secondly, grounded theory is used to analyze consumers' demands and preferences. ମୁଁ କହିଛି ଆଗରୁ ମାର୍କେଟ ସର୍ଭେ ପାଇଁ ଆମର ହେଉଛି କ୍ୱାଲିଟି ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ. In grounded theory, we get information from different sources, from different level, the multi-level information. So here we can have a market study. So we can analyze, we can get the consumers' demands and preferences in the existing market. We can give a concrete view. Thirdly, approach. In this approach, grounded theory approach, we can analyze product positioning and advertising opportunity. What product position availability, not availability, advertising opportunity, whether you can advertise or not, whether the advertisement can be effective or not, we can know. Fourthly, it is one of the best theoretical approach that can be used in the field of education, management, women studies, influence studies, politics and communities. What a politician दौचु in grounded theory. तमें मिसिल गोटे पर्टिकुलर एरिया लोक सांगे तमें नेल रिपोर्ट नेल by asking questions, by selective interviews, by taking views of other people around, or by taking views of the uh, board members or panchayat office or the other people who are in position. So like that, here you take the data from statement sources, make a concrete prediction. Lastly, this grounded theory helps in understanding, analyzing, and describing human psychology and experience in a better way. So now the criticism. Still, this grounded theory has many problems. Though this theory basically very important, as it systematically analyzes the data and analyzes theory. Still, there is some view, some possibility that the researcher may involve some preconceptions which may reflect in data collection. ଜଣେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରୁଛି ତାର ଯୋଉ ନିଜର ସବୁ ରହିଛି ପ୍ରିକନସିଭ୍ notions that may influence the data collection so that the validity will be affected. However, the grounded theory, despite this minor shortcoming, is the most usable research way or most usable approach or widely used. It's used with a prominent methodology in the field of social science, and it has the propensity or it has the quality to generate new theories or theory building. So the grounded theory is very important. This unit 3, that is discourse analysis. We come to this page 25. So discourse analysis. So this is a type of peculiar topic, and discourse analysis means content analysis, and discourse refers to talk. The discourse analysis originated in 1960s, prominently used in interdisciplinary fields. It basically refers to explanations of the researchers or analysts in the form of talks or text. It may be a talk or text of historical incidents, or any talk on social activity, or discourses of academic activity, the discourses of the family, domesticity, or the gang. So this particular theory involves in only talking, discussing. So here, the discourse analysis is talk analysis. You talk, and to talking you get some information, and you analyze that. So discourse analysis has been identified, has been defined in different ways, and some of the basic definitions are as follows. As you know, some people have defined, Berelson defined content analysis as a research analysis or technique for objective, systematic, and quantitative description of manifest content or communications. That they say that discourse analysis deals with the quantitative description of our talks. Then I come to the assumptions of discourse analysis. The theoretically, discourse analysis is an interdisciplinary approach and has been used by social scientists and cognitive psychologists. So psychologists assume that human behavior can only be studied with objectivity, that is without involvement of any bias or of subjectivity. However, this has been disputed. All the behaviors cannot be objective. The people including researchers, cannot be objective. The people who is going to show his response, these are objective. Now the person who is doing research may not be also objective. They have their own opinions, biases. For example, a researcher is likely to hold a position, and that position is having some expectation, belief, or set of cultural values, which might affect their research. Those expectations may be revealed while interpreting and explaining the events and experiences. The approach also assumes that reality is socially constructed. It is assumed in a scientific research that reality can be categorized. So, also they assume that people are of result in their social interaction. In the scientific approach, it is assumed that many constructs used are inner essences. That is to say that personality, anxiety, drives and so on exist somewhere within our heads and revealed only when the individually only social interacts. So now they say that all these notions are prejudice, our thoughts process, or our fear, everything in our head, and that can be only lead to interaction. So social interaction or talking is the most important way to reveal our inside. So when you are studying behavior, the inside must be revealed. That can be revealed only by interaction. Then the approaches or theories of discourse analysis. There are numerous types of theory or theories of analysis. One is modernism. So here the theories are guided by achievements and reality based on orientation. So they go by achievement and reality based orientation programs. In structuralism, the theories couple and that the human interaction and social information, social formation. So in structuralism, the theories they view that the human action and social formation are related to language and discourse, and they can be implicated or considered a system of related elements. So they say that through this language, through the words, through the action, the actuality can be revealed. And thirdly, the postmodernism, and here the variety of experience of individual and groups emphasize on more difference and similarities, and they through talks they go for a common experience. The postmodern researchers insist more on analyzing discourse of text, language, policies and practices. So text means reading books, language means language you are using to talking. So now these are the last one, the feminism. The feminist explain discourse are the events of the social practices. Now see the feminism. When you say that the feminist is talking or explain discourse or events of social practices, actually they don't take gender as different on sex. Then they take actually the ideas or the behaviors of particular genders into context. For example, they investigate the complex relationship that exists among power, ideology, language and discourse. They emphasize on the concept of performing gender. So now see, these two lines are very important. According to them, gender is a property, not of a person themselves, but of the behaviors to which member society ascribe a gender meaning. So gender is a property. The behaviors to which those people are ascribed. They take it like that. So this next is steps in discourse analysis. So here first we get the target orientation. So first of all, the analyst need to know the target or the focus of the study, what to study, which area to study. They need to think about the way by which they have to go for further information, what they have to analyze. Suppose somebody is going to talk, what should they talk, what is the topic? So the target must be fixed and they have to orient to the target. Then the significance of data, once the relevant information is collected, they examine the data. Suppose somebody is interacting, they get some data. The data is now collected and they look into the data, they examine the data. Then the third thing, the data interpreted, they interpret the data. Whether the data gives any clue to your purpose or not. Then fourth, they make analysis. They undertake the mechanical process of analyzing, interpreting and summarizing the data. On the basis of analysis, they make conclusion. There are many qualitative analysis programs available, social researchers. For example, software could locate particular words or phrases. It could make list of words and put them in alphabetical order. It can insert keywords or comments. Like this, with the help of software, we can make analysis also. And the relevant information about or relevance or implication and significance about the discourse analysis. So discourse analysis enables us to understand the conditions behind specific problem and make us realistic or make us realize the essence of the problem. And the discourse analysis helps us in gaining a comprehensive view of the problem and to relate them. It helps in understanding hidden motivations within ourselves. It helps in meaningful interpretation of the people. It also aids in reconstructing concepts, belief systems, and generally held social values and assumptions. So it can change it. And lastly, the discourse analysis can be applied to any text, that is to any problem or situation, and requires no guidance to be followed. And the issues of validity and reliability, since the method of discourse lacks a proper format or guideline, then the approach is controversial, may not be reliable. The interpretation of the information collected through the method is also questionable. It may involve subjectivity or bias of the researcher who is going to do the research. Thirdly, there is no data, hard data provided through discourse analysis. The reliability and validity of the research is also questioned. And fourthly, the validity of critical analysis therefore dependent on the quality of rhetoric. Despite the above controversies and arguments, the method is well appreciated and withholds good position and certain concrete applications. So concept of critical discourse analysis. That is not very important. You come to the implications, and the implications is that the method allows researcher to be an active agent, and undoubtedly the method of critical discourse helps in having a cross-cultural study, and the method of critical discourse analyzes critically, tries to examine the dimensions of theoretical and descriptive accounts. That is all about implication. And the concept of content analysis, we also say it in discourse analysis. So here it tries to analyze written words. The results of content analysis are numbers and percentage. It starts with the process of selecting content for analysis. It is preparing the content for coding. After the content is coded, it is counted and weighed. Later conclusions are drawn on the basis of weighing. After doing a content analysis, the researcher can make a statement such as this percent or that percentage of program is valid. With the examples of content analysis, the content analysis can be done with the help of media content, is being used, or audience content. And the implication, the content analysis has several implications. The content analysis enables the researcher to make links between causes. The content analysis is used to evaluate and improve programming of media world. It also helps in increasing awareness and summarizing the various notes or documentation in the issue. So it is all about content analysis. So the last one will come reporting and evaluating in qualitative research. So I am also very tired because I am quickly going to cover this. So I think all of you are attending.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
I am sorry, I am very speedily covering because still I have one unit and the time is only left 8 minutes. Right? So here, reporting and evaluating in qualitative research. So the steps, as you know, in qualitative research, the concepts I have already discussed. I am not going to tell you. You collect data, and then after getting data, you just again read and make some changing. So the qualitative research are being steps little different. So first of the steps in evaluation of evaluating or analyzing of data in qualitative research. So reading the overall collected data. Suppose you collect some data through talking or through observing or through experience. You have some data. You read the overall collected data, categorize the data collected, name or label the categories, identification of the causal, then you identify the causal relationship, then record or filing the data. So now after that, let us take each of these steps. Number one, reading the overall collected data. These things, these 5 categories I am explaining. So firstly, the researcher tries to go through the details of the information. That is reading the overall data. Second, categorizing from the data collected or the information collected. Researcher sorts out the relevant information. So first you get information, then you sort out the relevant and irrelevant one. Thirdly, naming and labeling the category. Here, you after sorting it, you categorize this. So this categorizing is important to go for further analysis. Then fourth, next step, after categorizing, you identify the causal relationship. Here, you label the information, you think what leads to what, the causal relationship. For example, I am giving an example. A sample of study belongs to one geographical area. We may say that people, if live in that area, may have a certain problem. Or most people of the same under study belong to same salary strata. Then you would state that because they all are the same salary strata, they are not adequately motivated. So like this, we identify particular area, particular observation, then you make causal relationship like this. Then fifth, recording or filing the data. Once the pattern relationship are analyzed, the analyst need to keep a track of record, the same. These records or files serve as a guide for future reference. The concept and the meaning of interpreting of data in qualitative research. So here, in data here, first comes the interpretation of data, refers to summarizing the findings. You got some findings, then you interpret the data, then you summarize. Then next step, it may also for comparison purpose. You describe and compare. Thirdly, while interpreting data, it is suggested that the researcher should summarize the findings in such a way that it will not only help the group under study, but also provide opportunity for other researchers to conduct research better in future. And here I come to the strategies of data interpretation. There are various ways in which data can be interpreted or summarized. Few of them are making a final list, then elaborate narratives and use of matrix. So now see, the data you are getting, maybe making a list, just making a final list. You get the data, you make a list out the data. Then elaborate narratives. Here it means that you give meaning or elaborate the finding on the data. So what the data you are getting from the interview or recording or discussion, you give a meaning to that. Then use a matrix. So there is a picture here, you see there is a matrix. You can use a matrix to present the data, so that the data can be just, you can see the data and you can make interpretation. So you can have a flow chart also. Next you can see the flow chart is given from a particular item. You can give this data in this way, like a flow chart. So next you come to concept and meaning of reporting of the data quality research. That helps us in preparing a report of the finding of the findings. Reporting of a data refers to ultimate discussion of the interpretations and the findings backed by relevant support of the relevant literature. Then the next is steps of preparing a report of the data in qualitative research. So you prepare a report. So you got the data, everything you just categorized, you elaborated these narratives, everything you did. Then you are going to prepare a report. In preparation, first the preparation of content report. And here you write down a report, you formulate the findings or the need of the requirement. Then you make a review, discuss the interpretation and results with the people on whom this has been done. Then you make a executive summary, that is an abstract to write some of the right findings. Then you write out the scope of future research. So what are the limitations you are observing, and in future what should be done. Now I can come to the next contents of research report. So here you can come here like this. First you come to contents, the report you are writing. So first you come to the title page. So now you remember this because this will be helpful for your project works. While doing projects, you have to do like this. So first title page. So here, details topic of the research has been mentioned. And next, table of contents. I'm putting on the title page, everything pages are marking here. Then I do summary, that's the abstract, the work abstract, and the purpose of the report as a problem or objective. Then the contextual background research target. So the background and the topic on whom we are going to do and why we are doing, or the background of the topic. Hello? And here you do the review also, collection of review, the collection of work done in related field. Then methodology, and methodology is very typical, you look into that. It involves 3 levels. Number 1, sample. Number 2, scale, tools. Number 3, the type of data collecting. Data may be interview, data may be from questionnaire, data may be recording, data may be observation, and that is mentioned, the type of data. Then you come to result, and here you get the result analysis. Then you come to interpretation and conclusion.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yes, I'll take it. I'll be a second. Then you come to interpretation and conclusion. You interpret the data and conclude. Then you come to limitation. Then where your writing, where you are having some constraint that will indicate. Then recommendation. Then you have to recommend for the study. Whether you recommend whether you give a suggestion or not. Whether you want to do again or you rectify again, like that you can suggest. Then the implication, what is the benefit from the study, or how your study is going to help others. Then references, you acknowledge the authors, the books, the studies or the journals which have read, that your references. And the appendices, that is containing the questionnaire that you have used, that is containing the case studies you have used or you have referred, that is the data you have got in tabular format. You have done some study, the data, you have to put it here. So all these things should be there. So these are the contents in a research report. हाँ पता रहो.
सर जो मेथोडोलॉजी टा जोटा ना मेथड ऑफ स्टडी टा जोटा तो
हाँ सेटा हैला.
ओके ये जो मेथड
then you come
ऑफ
to
सर मेथड ऑफ स्टडी जो प्लान एंड डिजाइन तो जो कोर्स नोट कोर्स
ଆମର ଲେଖୁଥିଲୁ ମେଥଡ ଷ୍ଟଡି, ଏଇଟା ଦେଖାଯାଏ ମେଥଡୋଲୋଜି.
ओके सर
ତମେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରିବ, ଲେଖିବ ଯୋଉ ତମର ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ଲେଖିବ, ଏଇଟା ମେଥଡୋଲୋଜି ହେଲା.
ओके सर
ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଏଇଟା ରହିଲା ତୁମର ଅବଜେକ୍ଟିଭ, ହାଇପୋଥେସିସ୍, ତାପରେ ତୁମର ଯୋଉ ସାମ୍ପଲ, ତୁମର ଯୋଉ ଟୁଲ୍ସ, ତୁମର ଯୋଉ ଡାଟା, the type of observation you are following, right? Then do's and do nots in evaluating, interpreting and reporting data in qualitative research. Do's মানে কম করা উচিত তোমার. The analysis should be clear, specific and describe the sample population. Sample must be clearly defined. Second, the analyst should code the data for their convenience. The analyst should frequently use diagrams for charts and matrices. The analyst should draw conclusion on the basis of present study. So you are making conclusion basing on your finding, present study. And lastly, as and when required, the analyst should develop policies for further evaluating or confirming the data to prove the validity. Data that you paicho, somebody may question, so you can have to prove it. So you have to do it, you have to show, confirm the validity. So what you do not? The analyst should not depend fully upon the research design, because no design is perfect. There may be some mistake. So you are doing, you see, observe whether you are correctly doing or not. The analyst should not interview about only the successes. Also the failures can be questioned. Success only doesn't give information. Also the person who is failing, he can tell you some information. So analysts should not completely depend upon questionnaire, as much of the information can only be available through observation and interviews. Khali questionnaire kar dela habani. You can interview and you can observe, right? So these things are there. So now, hopefully, we completed the unit 4. right?
Yes, sir.
Any question? So already 5 minutes over, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
ତେଣୁ ତୁମେ ସବୁ ଏତେ କାମ କର, ଗୋଟେ ପଢ଼ ଘରେ, ଆଉ ମନେ ରଖ ତୁମେ ଯେଉଁ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ କରିବ ସବୁ ତୁମର ମୋଷ୍ଟ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଥିଙ୍ଗ ହେଉଛି ତ ପରୀକ୍ଷାରେ ପଡ଼ିବ ଯେଉଁଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ମାନେ ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ଯେଉଁଟା ପଡ଼େ ପରୀକ୍ଷାରେ ଏଟାକ ତ ସବୁ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ମୁଁ ତୁମେ ଜାଣିଲ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ତୁମେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ମେଥୋଡୋଲୋଜି ଉପରେ ତୁମେ ସବୁ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଣ୍ଟ ହେଇଗଲ ଇଫ୍ ୟୁ ହାଭ୍ ଅଣ୍ଡରଷ୍ଟୁଡ୍ ଗୋଟେ ପର୍ଟିକୁଲାର ଡିଜାଇନରେ ତୁମେ କୋଉଟା ଠିକ୍ କୋଉଟା ଭୁଲ କହିପାରିବ କେଉଁ ଷ୍ଟଡି ପାଇଁ କେଉଁଟା ଷ୍ଟାଟିଷ୍ଟିକ୍ସ ସୁଇଟେବୁଲ୍ ତୁମେ କହିପାରିବ କେଉଁଠି ତୁମେ କରିବ କ୍ୱାଲିଟେଟିଭ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି କେଉଁଠି କରିବ କ୍ୱାଣ୍ଟିଟେଟିଭ୍ ତୁମେ କହିପାରିବ that you can if you understood you can do but in your project research ତୁମର ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ କାମ କରିବ ତୁମେ ଇଣ୍ଟର୍ନସିପ୍ କରିବ ତୁମର ସବୁ ଦରକାର ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ହେବ ତୁମ ଇଣ୍ଟର୍ନସିପ୍ରେ ତୁମେ ସବୁ କେସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛ କ୍ଲିନିକାଲ୍ କର କି କାଉନସିଲିଂ କର ଯେଉଁ ଏରିଆ ନେଲେ ବି ତୁମ କେସ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛ ତୁମେ ସବୁ ନେଲାବେଳେ ସବୁ ଏରିଆ କେଉଁ ଏରିଆ ତୁମେ ନେଇଛ ଜାଣିନି ମୁଁ ଏରିଆ ପ୍ରତି ଏରିଆରେ ବି ରହିଛି ସବୁ ସୁଇଟେବିଲିଟି ରହିଛି ତାପରେ ଯେଉଁବେଳେ କରିବ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ କରିବ ତାହେଲେ କେମିତି ଟପିକ୍ ନେବ ତାର କେମିତି ତୁମେ କରିବ ଷ୍ଟଡି ତାର ପ୍ଲାନିଂ କ'ଣ ଏଇଟା କ'ଣ କ୍ୱାଲିଟେଟିଭ୍ କରୁଛ ନା କ୍ୱାଣ୍ଟିଟେଟିଭ୍ କରୁଛ ତାପରେ କେମିତି ତାର ମେଥୋଡୋଲୋଜି ତୁମେ ଫିକ୍ସ କରିବ ତାର କ'ଣ ତୁମେ ନେବ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ରିଭ୍ୟୁ ନେଇକରି ଗୋଟେ ରାସନାଲ୍ ଲେଖିବ ରାସନାଲ୍ ଗୋଟେ ଲେଖାଯାଏ ଯୁକ୍ତି ତାର ହ୍ୱାଇ ୟୁ ଆର୍ ଟେକିଂ ସେଇଟା କି ଲେଖିବ ଏଇସବୁଗୁଡ଼ାକ ତୁମେ ଜାଣିବା ଦରକାର ସବୁ ତେଣୁ ଗୋଟେ କାମ କର ଏଇଟା ପଢ଼ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ କଥା ପଢ଼ିବ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ କାମ କରିବ ମୋତେ ପଚାରିଲେ ମୁଁ କହିଦେବି କେମିତି ସବୁ କରିବ ସବୁ ତୁମକୁ ଆଇ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ଟେଲ୍ ୟୁ ଦି ୱେଜ୍ ହାଉ ଟୁ ସିମ୍ପଲି ଡୁ ଦି ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ୱାର୍କସ୍ ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ହେବନି ସହଜ ଭାରି ସାଇକୋଲୋଜି ସହଜ ପାଠ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ଏଇ ଡିଜାଇନ୍ ଫିଜାଇନ୍ ଅଛି ତୁମ ଟିକେ ତୁମକୁ କଷ୍ଟ ଲାଗୁଥିବ ଭାରି କାରଣ କେହି ଏଥିରେ ଆକାଉଣ୍ଟେଡ୍ ନୁହନ୍ତି ତେଣୁ ନୂଆ ନୂଆ ଡିଜାଇନ୍ ସବୁ ଆସିଛି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ତୁମକୁ ଟିକେ ସାଇକୋଲୋଜି କଷ୍ଟ ଲାଗୁଥିବ କିନ୍ତୁ ପଢ଼ିଲେ ଭଲ ଲାଗିବ it's fine so I have told you if any doubt arises in mind you can talk to me in WhatsApp or phone you can discuss in the process I have also by continuously talking for the 2-3 hours I have got myself the need for getting a pause so can we disperse now or anything Banuja Tanuja both of you are here Sujit Subhasri there Ajay there Gita there anybody else there also
Yes, sir.
let me know
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
let me know how many are we here how many
Sir, 17, sir.
17 that's a good number Ajay
Yes, sir.
from which place
I'm so Katak, sir.
from
Katak, CDA Katak, sir.
oh Kotak CDA
Sir, Sector 11.
oh very good
Yes, sir.
very good so you are
Yes,
in job
Yeah, I work in Sri Sri University, sir.
right I think I know you okay good
Sir,
Acha.
sir, I have a request.
CC University I have gone 3-4 times my friend was the vice chancellor Kailash Mishra so also my another friend was department head of management Vibhuti Mahapatra now also there are 2 students there 2-3 students there working so I think probably there somewhere I've seen you good then
Sir, I'm a art of living. I had a weakness for psychology. I thought I should have a
good I think 8-9 months back I went there I gave a speech to a congregation in your CC University probably whether you remember this or not if you see me personally probably you can recognize so anyway
Sir,
good Gita is there
Sir, I have a request. Actually, I am not in the WhatsApp group.
yes
Can you help me to add in WhatsApp group?
so I'm sorry because I do not know how to put people in the group I am a zero in these digital ways I know I have told you earlier but about help
Ajay sir,
about
ଆପଣଙ୍କ
helping
ନମ୍ବରଟା ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ
9821
980
21
yeah
293
293.
223.
Yes. So 98201 293 223.
Again.
Oh, Sujit, you take care of him. Next.
Okay.
अच्छा ठीक अच्छे तुम्हारा
I want to speak
about
to
helping. I have given my number also.
sir मत टिके दियंतु आपन नंबर
नहीं नहीं जो तुम्हें सही सुजित दे दबो है
हो अच्छा
तो तुम्हारा पुणी तुम्हारा मु कहि तुमको about getting help anytime
sir
anywhere and there you can ask for any help I can help you no problem हां किछि अवस्था नहीं पाठ ऊपर बेसिकली आई एम टीचर मो काम लोक सब पढ़िया कथा तो विद्या ज्ञान बांटीबा बुझलो तेणु ज्ञान बांटीबा हमर नियम तेणु जो एवर आई एम यू कैन आस्क मी एनी डाउट एनी क्वेश्चन or any type of help you need I will help no problem.
Okay sir, thank you sir.
Anybody else? Subhasri is there?
Yes sir.
You are there? Acha. Subhasri, I asked you where from?
I am from Morbans sir.
Morbans? Oh,
yes, sir.
Good far a place. Geeta from which place? Not there. Geeta not there. Bonza from Bhubaneswar, I know.
Sir, my native place is Balashwar, Basta.
Balashwar. Oh, good.
Sir,
very
Basta.
good.
I am from Basta.
Tanuja is there. Not there. So anyway, it's good. So let me. Madhusmita is there. And Vikas is there.
Yes, sir, I am here.
Ah, right. Very good. Vikas, how did you feel about today? Is good? Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir. Not I am getting properly today because of the problem, and my laptop is hanging right now, so that's why.
Okay. I know you are from Bargad, such a far up place. So no, don't worry. Any problem you can ask me, or whenever you come to Bhubaneswar also you can meet me also if any doubt you are having. Right? No problem. Don't be disheartened. Don't feel yourself any inferiority. Don't feel. You have taken psychology. You will do very well. You all will get around 70%. You will get no problem. Only time is that you read very well. You read continuously. You read very sincerely. Psychology is mark fetching. If you really read well, definitely you will get all very good marks. So any question?
सर रूपाली कहूतले
हाँ रूपाली कह
सर मु सेकेंड ईयर रे जो पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी आ गोटे प्रोजेक्ट अछि
हाँ
सेटा मु प्रोजेक्ट नै जाईची सेटा केमती का हबो टिके
प्रोजेक्ट नै तो
आज्ञा
भल तो
जे समस्त नै जाईछन पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी मु एका नैची प्रोजेक्ट
नो प्रोजेक्ट भल नंबर आसे पॉजिटिव मोर मार्क फेचिंग ओसा कोन
से आज जाइथिली इग्नो जाइथिली मु कहली काले चेंज करी हबो बोली पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी नै थांदी
कोन कहले
सी गोटे फॉर्म देले कहले कि एने त हम पाखु लिंक आसीनी आउ लिंक आसिले सेति पई फीस ने कहले 1200 टका नेबे चेंज करिया पे
जान निके तो प्रोजेक्ट तो बहुत भलो प्रोजेक्ट नै
सर
प्रोजेक्ट सुनो
सर नौनांती मु एकुटिया हे जाउची तो सेति पई डर लागुचे
सुनो तुम देखियो सबुटू प्रोजेक्ट बेसी नियंती प्रोजेक्ट को सुनो प्रोजेक्ट होची तुम पछरे करिया पे एमफिल पीएचडी ताको तो एमफिल नहीं पीएचडी करियो सब प्रोजेक्ट होची गोटे पीएचडी करिया पई तुम गोटे सुजोग तो जानिबो सब टेक्निक हाउ टू डू पीएचडी ऑल रिसर्च करिया पई
ओके
तो प्रोजेक्ट कले बेटर तुम एक्सपीरियंस हबो दैट इज ए टाइप ऑफ माने रिसर्च स्किल ऊपर तो अकाउंटेंट हबो तेणु भल जिन गोटे आ मोर मार्केटिंग अल्सो लोक डरती कौन ये प्रोजेक्ट पर गाइड जाओ गाइड पाक जाओ टंका पैसा खर्च ये सब लोग डरती गाइड पाऊना गाइड्स अल्सो देयर आर गाइड्स
सर से गाइड मु कोठ खोजी कोन जानि पेलिन
तो आई विल हेल्प यू Project Sumita is marketing and also to help you in the future. If you don't have project, you can ଶୁଣ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଶୁଣ ମୋ ଜିନିଷ project କରିବ project କୁ ଯେମିତି paper ରେ କାଢିବ journal ରେ କାଢିବ ତୁମର ଗୋଟେ topic କରିକିରି ତମର future ରେ career ରେ add ହବ mark add ହବ ଏତ ଅଛି ସବୁ it is nothing wrong you have done ହେଲା
ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କହିଲି କେହି ନେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ଏକୁଟିଆ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ନେଇଛି କଣ କରିବି ଭାବିକି ଆଜି ଯାଇ ଆଜ୍ଞା
କିଛି ଅବସ୍ଥା ନାହିଁ
ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଭାବିଲି ଫର୍ମ ଦେଇଥିଲେ ହେଲେ ଫିଲଅପ କରିନଥିଲି ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଆଜି ଟିକେ ସାରଙ୍କୁ କ୍ଲାସ ରେ ପଚାରିଦେବି ତାପରେ ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିବି କି ନାହିଁ ଭାବିବି
ମୋର ପର୍ସନାଲ ଭ୍ୟୁ ଅଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଯେ ମୁଁ ଥିଲେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ନିଅନ୍ତି ଯଦି ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇଥାନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ସବୁ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ନିଅନ୍ତି କାରଣ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ gives you idea about your skill ଏ ଥିଓରି ପର୍ସନ ପଢିକି କିଛି ଲାଭ ମୋର ନାହିଁ
ସାର୍ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ସିଲେକ୍ସନ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଇୟର ପାଇଁ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ସିଲେକ୍ସନ ଏପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ତ ହେଇନି
ନାଇଁ ମୋର ଜାନୁଆରୀ ବ୍ୟାଚ୍ ନା
ଓକେ ଓକେ
ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ନେଲେ ଭଲ ମୁଁ ତ କହୁଛି ମୁଁ ଥିଲେ if option given to me I will always prefer project
ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଏବେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ନେବି ଆପଣ ମତେ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରିବେ ତ
ସମସ୍ତେ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରେ ଯେତେ ପିଲା ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ମୁଁ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରେ
ସାର୍ ପଜିଟିଭ ସାଇକୋଲୋଜି ଟା ଗୋଟେ ପେପର ହେଲା ବେଳକୁ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ଟା ତ ଗୋଟେ ପଜିଟିଭ ସାଇକୋଲୋଜି ଅପେକ୍ଷା ପଜିଟିଭ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ଟା ମାର୍କେଟିଂ ସେଠି ଥାଏ
ନାଇଁ ତ ପେପରଟେ ପଢିବ ତୁମେ ତ କଣ ପଜିଟିଭ ସାଇକୋଲୋଜି ପେପରର ଅଲ୍ଟରନେଟିଭ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ଅଛି
ହଁ ଏବେ ସେଇଟା କରିଛି ମାନେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ଯିଏ ନ ନେଇ ପାରୁଛନ୍ତି ମାନେ ପ୍ରାୟତଃ ପିଲା ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ କରିପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି ନା ସେଥିପାଇଁ ତା ବଦଳରେ ପଜିଟିଭ ସାଇକୋଲୋଜି ଅଛି
କରିପାରନ୍ତି କାହିଁ କରିପାରନ୍ତି ଭୟ ଗୋଟେ ସେ ଗାଇଡ ପାଉନାହାନ୍ତି
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସେଇ ତ କେମିତି କରିବୁ କୋଉଠୁ ଗାଇଡ ଖୋଜିବୁ ପୁଣି ସିନୋଫିସିସ୍ ଅଛି
ସବୁ ହେଇପାରିବ ଭେରି ଇଜିଲି ହବ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଭେରି ଇଜିଲି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଏମିତି କଲେ ଥିଓରି ପର୍ସନ ନବ ବହି ପଢିବ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ହବ ନମ୍ବର ପାଇବେ କେତେ ଏ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ତୁମେ ପାଇବ 85 ପାଇବ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍
ଭଲ କରିବ 85 ଲୋକ ବି 90 ପାଆନ୍ତି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଯଦି ଭଲ କରିପାରିବ ଆଉ ତୋର ପଢିବାକୁ ଅବସ୍ଥା ନାହିଁ ତମର ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ପାଇଁ ତୁମେ ପାଇବ ହେଲ୍ପ ପାଇବ ଓଷ୍ଟ କାହାକୁ ନ ପାଇଲେ ଆଇ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ହେଲ୍ପ ୟୁ नो प्रोब्लेम
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍
ହେଲା କେହି କିଛି ମାଇଣ୍ଡ କିଛି ଡରନି କେହି ଡରନି ମୁଁ ତ ଇଗ୍ନୋ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ମାନେ ମୁଁ ତ ରିଟାୟାର୍ଡ ଲୋକ ଇଗ୍ନୋ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ମୁଁ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ନେଉଛି ବେଳେବେଳେ ଇଭିନ୍ ବି କ୍ଲାସ୍ ନହେଲେ ବି ତୁମେ ଆସିଲେ ବି ମୁଁ ଆଇ ଏମ୍ ରେଜିଷ୍ଟର୍ଡ ଏକାଡେମିକ୍ କାଉନସିଲର ମୁଁ ଆରମ୍ଭରୁ ଇଗ୍ନୋରେ ମୁଁ ଇନଭଲ୍ଭ ଅଛି ତେଣୁ ଯଦି କେହି ସାହାଯ୍ୟ ମାଗିବ ଯେକୌଣସି ଉପାୟରେ ଆଇ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ହେଲ୍ପ ୟୁ ହେଲା
ମୁଁ କାଉନସିଲିଂ ନେଇଛି
ହଁ ଭଲ ତ ତୁ ଭଲ ରିଟାୟାରମେଣ୍ଟ ପରେ କାଉନସିଲିଂ ଗୋଟେ କନସଲଟାନ୍ସି କରିବୁ ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ବି ଏ କାଉନସିଲର ଆମେ ତାକୁ ବତେଇଦେବୁ କିନ୍ତୁ କାଉନସିଲିଂ ମାନେ କ'ଣ ଟେକ୍ନିକ୍ ବତେଇଦେବୁ କାଉନସିଲିଂ ହୁଏ କେମିତି नो प्रोब्लेम ହେଲା
ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ତାହେଲେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ଯିବି ଯେତେବେଳେ କ'ଣ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହେଲେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗେ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟ କରିପାରିବି ତ
ନଥିଙ୍ଗ नो प्रोब्लेम ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ମାନେ କିଛି ନଥାଏ ଏଭ୍ରିଥିଙ୍ଗ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ହାଜ୍ ଏ ସଲ୍ୟୁସନ୍ ହେଲା ନ ଆସିକି ଫୋନରେ କହିଲେ ବି କରିପାରିବୁ ମତେ ପଚାରିଲେ ଫୋନରେ କହିବି
ନାଇଁ ବାବା ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱରରେ ଚାକିରି କରିଛନ୍ତି ତ ସିଏ ରହୁଛନ୍ତି
ଠିକ ଅଛି नो प्रोब्लेम ହେଲା ଏନିବଡି ଏନି ୱାନ୍ ଅଫ୍ ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ମୁଁ ତ କହିଲି ତମକୁ ନା ପଚାରି ପାରିବ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପରେ ଫୋନରେ ଡାଉଟ୍ ହେଲେ ମୁଁ କହିଦେବି ଓକେ ଏନିବଡି ଏଲ୍ସ
ସାର୍ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ
ହଁ ତୋ ନାଁ କ'ଣ ତୋର ମଧୁସ୍ମିତା
ସାର୍
ନାଁ କ'ଣ ତମର ହଁ
ସାର୍ ମୋ ନାଁ ରୂପାଲି ପରା
ରୂପାଲି ହଁ ଏପଟେ ଗୋଟେ ପାସ ଗୋଟେ ମଧୁସ୍ମିତା ଯେ ଆଚ୍ଛା ଏନିବଡି ଏଲ୍ସ ମଧୁସ୍ମିତା ନା ଅଛି ହାତ ଖୁସି ମଧୁସ୍ମିତା ୟୁ ଆର୍ ହିୟର ସୋନାଲିକା କ'ଣ କହିବ କିଛି କି କିଏ
Give your number, Madhusmita. Wait, 63 72 42 66 47 again 6372426647. Is it? Okay. Okay.
ଆଚ୍ଛା ପିଲାମାନେ ଯିବା ଏଥର ନା କାହା ପଚାରିବ କ'ଣ? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ,
Yes, sir.
ବନ୍ଦ କରିବା ନା କ'ଣ ପଚାରିବ?
ସୁଜିତ କୁ ଟିକେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ନମ୍ବର ଦେବେ ସୁଜିତ କୁ।
ମୋର ସାର୍ ନମ୍ବର ହଉଛି 700
700
86
86
99240।
99240। ଆଜ୍ଞା ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ। ମୋତେ ଆଡ୍ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି ବୋଧେ?
ନା ମୁଁ କରିଦେଉଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଇଏ କରି କରିଦେବି।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
ମୁଁ ଅଲରେଡ଼ି ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ମେସେଜ କରିସାରିଛି, କରିଦେବି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ, ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସୋ ମଚ୍।
ହଁ।
କ'ଣ ପିଲାମାନେ ସବୁ ଯିବା ଏଥର ନା କ'ଣ?
ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ଭଲ ଅଛନ୍ତି ନା?
ହଁ ଚାଲିଛି।
ସାର୍
ଆରେ ଭଲ ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ନେଗେଟିଭ୍ ଟର୍ମ ନା କ'ଣ? ଏଇ ଭଲ ଅଛି କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ପଚାରୁଛୁ, ଏଇଟା କ୍ୱାଣ୍ଟିଟି ଆନାଲିସିସ୍ ହେଇପାରିବନି, ଏଇଟା କ୍ୱାଲିଟେଟିଭ୍ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ, ବୁଝିଲ? କେତେ ଭଲ ଅଛି କ'ଣ ଅଛି କହିଲା ବେଳକୁ you can't make it quantitatively.
Sir, ସୁଜିତ ସାର୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ବନେଇଲେଣି।
ହଁ।
ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ସଦାବେଳେ ମାନେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଖୁସି ସାର୍। ଆପଣ କେବେ ମନ ଦୁଃଖ କେବେ ଆମେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିନି କେବେ ଆପଣ।
କେମିତି ଦେଖିଲା
ସାର୍ ଆମେ ଯୋଉ 4ଟା କ୍ଲାସ୍ କଲୁଣି ଆପଣ କେବେ ସାର୍ ସଦାବେଳେ
ଓ ଆଚ୍ଛା
ହାପିରେ।
Oh, thank you very much. I am always, I feel myself one amongst these fellow students who, despite my generational gap, I love my students like my age mates. ତେଣୁ ମୋର ସେଥିରେ କିଛି ରାଗ ଗୁଆ କିଛି ନଥାଏ କି ଅଭିମାନ ନଥାଏ, ସବୁବେଳେ ଭାବେ ମୁଁ ସେମାନଙ୍କର ଡାଉଟ୍ଟା ମୋ ଡାଉଟ୍ ହେଲା। ତେଣୁ ଆଇ ଆମ୍ ଜଷ୍ଟ ଫିଲିଂ ମାଇସେଲ୍ଫ।
ସାର୍ ଏଇ ସବଜେକ୍ଟର କିଛି କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଦେଇପାରିବେ କି ଥ୍ରୁ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ୍?
କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. ତୁମର ଶୁଣ, ତମକୁ ମୁଁ କହିଦିଏ ତମକୁ ଟିକେ, ଏଇଟା ଆମର ସବୁ ରେକର୍ଡିଂ ହଉଛି ବୋଧେ?
Yes, sir.
ହଁ ରେକର୍ଡିଂ ସବୁ ହଉଥିବ, ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ ପର୍ସନାଲି ସବୁ ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ନଟ୍ ଡିସ୍କସ୍ ବଟ୍ ଥିଙ୍କ୍ ଓନ୍ଲି।
ସାର୍ ଆଫ୍ଟର 10 ସାର୍।
ହଁ ସେ କହିପାରିବେ ତୁମେ। ଶୁଣ ତୁମର ଯାହା ଡାଉଟ୍ ଅଛି ତମେ ସବୁ ଲେଖିକି ମୋତେ ଦେବ ମୋ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ୍ରେ, ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ କ୍ଲାରିଫାଏ କରିଦେବି। और एनी प्रोब्लेम पर्सनल प्रोब्लेम पहले मुझे कहीदेवी। पाठ साइकोलॉजी बहुत सहज आउ जो लोग सिंसियरली पढ़ती से दे गो टू एनी हाइट। साइकोलॉजी मच गिविंग इन डिफरेंट लेवल्स। तुम यदि बुझी भल ये मेथोडोलॉजी पोर्शनटा यदि भल बुझी तुमको केबे कई तुमको हर पारे। और डिफिकल्ट पोर्शनटा तुम भल कर बुझी इफ स्ट्रॉन्ग इन मेथोडोलॉजी nobody can make an aspersion against you. You will be always the champions in psychology. तेणु तुम्हें जो पाठ पढ़ले भी with confidence पढ़. So I have all my best wishes for all of you. Thank you. Let's stop here, right? And any doubt you are having, you can talk in the late evening, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, bye.
Sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
रूपाली मैडम अछंती की?
आज्ञा
टिके आपन का नंबर टा देथिबे।
मो नंबर हाँ हाँ लिखंतु 70 64
हाँ
5 8764।
ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ୟାଚ୍ ସିନିୟର ରେ ଚାଲଛନ୍ତି ନା, ତେଣୁ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ପଚାରୁଥିଲି। ଠିକ ଅଛି, ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ସୋ ମଚ୍।
रूपाली मैडम ये जो आमर जो परीक्षाटा हम 50 मार्क्स ना 100 मार्क्स अपन जानते कि?
ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ତ ନିଜେ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ଦେଇନି ମୁଁ କଣ ଜାଣିବି।
ନାଇଁ ଆପଣ ତ ପୂର୍ବ ଇଏ ତ ସେଥି ସକାଶେ ମୁଁ ବୁଝେ କଣ ଆପଣ
ହଁ
କିଏ
ମାନେ
ଦେଖିଲେ
ଆପଣ ଏକ୍ସାମ ଦେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ମ୍ୟାଡାମ? ମାନେ ଯୋଉଟା
ନାଇଁ
ଆମେ
ମୋର
ଦବୁ ଏବେ?
କିଛି ନାଇଁ ମୋର କିଛି ଲିଙ୍କ ଆସିନଥିଲା। ମୋର ଏବେ ଜୁଲାଇ ସେସନରେ ଲିଙ୍କ ଆସିଲା।
ଓହୋ
ହେଲେ
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ବି
ଆଚ୍ଛା।
ମୁଁ କିନ୍ତୁ ଜାଣିଛି 50 ମାର୍କର ଏକ୍ସାମ ହଉଛି। ଏକ୍ସାମ ସବୁ ମାନେ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ପାଇଁ ଫର୍ମ ଫିଲଅପ କରିଥିଲି। ମୋର ମାନେ ପର୍ସନାଲ ଇସ୍ୟୁ ସକାଶେ